Exercise 3 is the first of these problems in 4.4 where you're going to need to be solving out for a two-step inequality. So I want to do a just real quick mini lesson on this and talk about the order in which we solve two-step inequalities. First and foremost, you just need to understand that a two-step inequality is a combination of two one-step inequalities. Is a combination of two one-step inequalities. And so what I mean by that is this x divided by 2 minus 3 greater than or equal to 5. You're going to solve this as if it was 2x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 5, and x divided by 2 is greater than or equal to 5. So you're going to be taking the same steps you did in the one-step inequalities you've been working with to get here, and in order to solve a two-step inequality. Now, the thing is, we need to do a certain order when solving these. You don't have to do it in this order. Technically, you can do it in the multiplication division instead of addition subtraction first. But the easiest way to do it, my suggestion, is to do your addition subtraction first and then your multiplication division. So addition subtraction first, multiplication division. And so for this x divided by 2 minus 3 greater than or equal to 5, your addition subtraction is that minus 3. And how would you solve that inequality if it was just x minus 3? So forget that divided by 2 for just a little bit. If it's x minus 3, well, we would just add 3 to both sides, and that would give us our solution of x is greater than or equal to 8. And then if it was just the x divided by 2, if it was just x divided by 2, since that 2 is on the bottom, I would multiply by 2 on both sides, and that would give me that x is greater than or equal to 10. So those are each one-step inequalities. This was addition, subtraction. This was multiplication, division. So those were each one-step inequalities. A two-step inequality is just simply a combination of both of them. So I've made an example that's similar to the one that is in the problem. And like I said, we're going to do our addition subtraction first, which is going to be the number that's farthest away from the x on the same side. So you have to choose between 2 and 3. Well, 3 is farther than the 2. And it's a minus 3. So how do I get rid of minus 3? I add 3 to both sides. Make sure you always do whatever you do to one side, you do the same side. Same rule still apply. That's going to cancel out this minus 3 and this plus 3, leave me with x divided by 2 is greater than or equal to 8. And then now it's just a one-step inequality. X divided by 2, well, I will multiply by 2. That's going to cross-simplify those 2's, leaves me with x is greater than or equal to 16. So just 2 steps is all. Step 1 was to add 3. And then step 2 was to multiply by 2. And it was just those 2 steps that give you your answer. So, and then if I were to graph this out, x is greater than or equal to 16. So it can equal 16, that's a closed circle. And x is greater than 16, so that's to the right. So just again, and I know I'm repeating myself a lot with this one, but you're just going to be doing addition, subtraction first, then multiplication, division. No, you don't have to do it in that order. You don't have to, but it is recommended, especially when you get to fractions and decimals. It just becomes a little easier if you do it in that order, but technically you can do it in the opposite order. Let me show you, if you're interested, if you haven't answered that one already, let me show you how you can do it in the opposite order. Well, if this is t divided by 3 minus 1, I can multiply both sides by 3. And then that's going to leave me with 3t over 3 minus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 9. 3 divided by 3 is 1. That's the t minus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 9. I would add 6 to both sides. I'm sorry, add 3 to both sides. And that leaves me with t is greater than or equal to negative 6. So again, you can do it on in the other form, but it's just easier to do addition subtraction before your multiplication division. For exercise 4 is the same kind of thing. We're being asked to match the inequality with its graph, so you need to determine the solution. You can maybe just look at the graphs and figure out which one of them works. Is it going to be values that are 5 and greater than 5, or just values that are less than 5, or 5 and less than 5? Or you could solve it out. 5x plus 7 is less than or equal to 32. Well, if this is 5x plus 7, I want to get rid of that plus 7 first, so I would subtract 7 from both sides. That leaves me with 5x is less than or equal to 25. And I want to get rid of that 5. Well, that's 5 times x, so that's x times 5. I'm going to divide by 5. Now the new x is less than or equal to 5. So close circle to the left because x is less than. So anytime x or any variable is less than, you're going to go left. They start with the same letter.